Well, here we are again. This will be the last thing you'll see on the Collins, the 75A-3. Why? Well, because it's been so heavily modified. It's just something else. Last night, my brother came over. Ron, been a technician for over 50 years. He's been in communications. He's done everything, you know. So if he says something beyond hope, it's beyond hope. He said, the other problem with this receiver is this guy modified it so much that the only way to totally get this back to normal would be a total gut of the entire system and then start all over, and there's no possible way I'm going to do that. I do not have the experience to do that. He says basically it's what the other guys say. If it's been heavily modified like this, it's basically a parts unit. That's it. I mean, it's got a lot of nice knobs on it. The front panel's fine. Everything else. He modified what he did is he tried to modify this thing so he could get it on single sideband. And yet, this was only for CW, which is code, or AM or FM. Well, he put another tube in, actually in a spot where the adapter for the FM should be. He actually cut it out and put another plate in there with a socket and a tube. It's an expensive tube. It's I think a 7930 or something like that, which is about a $45 or $50 tube to try to get this thing on single sideband. Well, apparently he never got it to do that. Everything else, the tubes, they should have had two 6BA7s in there. They should have been for the first and second mixer, and those were changed to 6EA8s, which can be used, but take a lot of heavy modifications to use them in this application. Well, that's what he's done. This other area that was supposedly sealed off, no, he rewired that whole section. Everything's been rewired. He added more parts. We went through, tested all the tubes. I found about 3 or 4 that were bad tubes, and got rid of those. But I'll show you exactly what this thing does now. The panel light comes on, the light for the meter comes on, all these lights come on. I replaced the 2 pilot lamps in it. Here's what it does. That's it. That's all it does. I can vary the loudness of it. That's about it. It does nothing. It picks up no signals. You can go ahead and hook the signal generator up to it and find out the BFO does work, but there's an elusive minus 50 volt bias that can't even get this thing to work with. And it needs that for the entire thing to operate, and it's not doing it. Although the power supply was checked out, and the power supply is putting out on each side of the center tap 200 volts on either side, so altogether 400 volts, which makes sense. But you can flip through. This thing actually went from 160 meters down to 10 meters, and you can flip through all of these, and nothing happened. It still stays the same. And like I said, electrolytics have been changed. Everything's been changed in there that should have been changed, has been changed, but it's just been so heavily modified. This is all it's going to do. So, I hate to do this, but it's just going to end up getting stuck on a shelf. This is a shelf queen, just to look at. That's about it. And possibly someone down the road, somebody wants parts for a 75A-3, and that's what I'll be selling it for, just parts, if they want it. Other than that, it's just going to sit around here. So, this would have been part 5, and part 5, but like I said, the panel lights and stuff like this work. All the tubes are lit up, and I got a dog in my lap. But anyway, So let me turn the light off so you can see stuff. Light on. Turn it off. There we go. And that one overhead too. I mean, the radio looks nice. It's all lit up. It's it looks like it's doing something, but it's actually doing nothing. There was panel lights, even one for the meter. Ron found out that was another wiring problem with the socket. Typical. But anyhow, yeah, all these are. Let me get that. Let me get your hole. And from the distance, yeah, it looks fine. I mean, everything's lit up, all the dials are lit up, all that. And inside, it's not all thrashed up inside. I mean, it's not rusted or anything like that. Everything looks fine. It's just that it's been so heavily modified that this thing is never going to work right unless it is totally rewired. And I do not have the expertise for that. I would not even attempt it. And that's where this is going to stay. So, as Chubby says, yeah, forget it. Not worth it. Not worth the time. Right, Chubbs? You know what you said? Not worth the time? Okay, the cat's just looking on. Alright. So, anyway, that's going to be it. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do next anyway. This thing's going to disappear. Bye for now. Right, Chubbs?